Hello, everyone. My guest today is Logan Soya. He's the founder and CEO of aquicore, a leading commercial real estate software company with all-in-one asset operations and management platform. He's responsible for creating and implementing business strategies, managing the company's investments and resources, as well as driving aquicore's future innovation and growth. With a background in physics, technology, systems management, and business, he founded aquicore in 2012 on a mission to create a global impact by helping clients connect to and understand their physical world. Logan, you ready to take us to the top?
Let's go for it.
All right, man. So what does the company do? And are you guys a SaaS model or what's your business model?
Yeah, so aquicore is really enabling all of the owners of real estate, especially institutional owners of real estate that own a lot of office buildings or hotels or retail establishments, to make sure that their properties are running excellently. And so that includes running energy efficiently. It includes streamlining business workflows and just being able to maximize the profitability of that property. The software platform really started as an energy management tool. And so we are a SaaS product with a SaaS subscription and a SaaS sales process. We have one interesting kind of dynamic where we do have an IoT element. So there are pieces of hardware that we can integrate with and collect data from.
Are you subsidizing that or passing the cost to the customer?
We actually pass the cost to the customer. So it's sort of like an upfront setup fee. The IoT hardware is quite low cost, so it's not like a huge expense.
How low cost? Like how many do you need for 10,000 square feet?
Yeah, so a good way to think about it is that we typically monitor and implement IoT for whole buildings, and so you might need $1,000 of setup fees to get the building running.
And what is that physical thing? Like, is it a little like? Can you describe it?
Yeah, it's a small box about the size of your iPhone.
Okay.
And it basically is a network connectivity device, and it latches on to any existing equipment in the building. We mostly connect to existing electric meters or water meter or gas meter, but we can connect to anything, right? Air quality sensors, building equipment. So it's very versatile.
So $1,000 setup fee includes how many of these pieces of hardware?
Usually we can get started with just a couple of them, and
like
then
5, 10
client. Yeah, like even less than that, 2 to 3, and then the client can grow and add more connectivity as they desire. Right? We don't want to overwhelm them with this IoT thing too early.
And then loop in the SaaS aspect now. So what's the average customer paying per month for the SaaS component?
Yeah, so our SaaS model is based on a per square foot basis because that's kind of how our clients think. So we're typically charging somewhere between 2 and 4 cents a square foot. And, for a typical commercial building that you might see in a city skyline, that's maybe like 5 or 6K a building, sort of as a basic startup fee. And then
that's $5K per month.
Sorry,
Logan, that's $5K per month.
No, actually 5 to 7K per year.
Okay, $5,000 per year. And that $5,000 kind of sweet spot starting ACV for you, that's a building with about how many square feet?
Maybe about 100,000 square feet. And we typically are selling not to individual buildings. We're typically selling to owners that own multiple buildings. So a classic sales process for SaaS, we're looking for an ACV of 20 to 35,000, which means
4 to 6 buildings.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. When did you launch? What year?
2013.
2013. Great. And then, so how many buildings are you in today?
We are in 700 buildings, 150 million square feet.
Oh, wow. Okay. So can I take 700 times that 5,000 ACV? You're doing like $290,000 a month right now, something like that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And what's growth look like? A year ago, what were you doing?
A year ago, we were in, I want to say 90 million square feet. So we're like, 75% year over year, something in that range.
Okay. So you're doing maybe about $190,000 about a year ago, now $290,000, something like that.
That's right.
That's great. Is most of the growth coming from expanding the footprint of historical customers or adding brand new customers altogether?
So we had a huge push 2 years ago in new logo expansion. And so we were getting these, what we call proof of value pilots where we would get 2 or 3 building batches with new logos. Last year and this year, we've really turned our attention to expanding with those now customers. So we have about 90 customers total across the 700 buildings, and we're only penetrated 10 or 15% in those customers. So now in 2019, the transition is to upsell and expansion and start to grow within those existing customer portfolios.
What are your expansion kind of pricing axes besides just add more square feet? Are there other things you can upsell across old square feet they already are paying for?
Absolutely, yes. So the 3 ways that you can expand is you can add more square feet, you can add more, you can upgrade our licenses from light to pro to enterprise.
That's like feature upgrades?
Yeah, so feature upgrades, new business intelligence capabilities, machine learning recommendations that you wouldn't get in the pro version, for example, some of those things. And those are constantly being refined and thought through. And then the only other way that you can do it is that if you really want to go deep and you add a bunch of sensors to a single building, and those for like really big, complicated buildings, sometimes we see that.
Dang. Okay, very good. And then churn's critical in any SaaS company. What's your revenue churn look like today?
Really, really good. So we've actually only churned 2 customers ever. So we're talking about like less than 0.5% annual churn.
Okay, that's like 0.5% revenue churn?
Yeah.
Yep. Revenue churn annually.
Yeah. So our as a SaaS model, our greatest strength is our lack of churn because of the stickiness of our product. Our greatest challenge is to continually to chip away at the cost of customer acquisition because we're dealing with these large, slower type real estate organizations.
Chip away at CAC or be more aggressive?
Get more efficient. Like
why?
I think for us, we see sort of the typical sales cycle a little bit longer than we'd like for that initial deal size. That first deal takes longer than we would like. The upsell and the expansion opportunity is fantastic, if you will, but so the LTV to CAC is amazing and all those metrics are great. But in terms of our ability to really gain a hyper fast velocity, that upfront, sort of, 3 to 6 to 9 month period of winning the customer in terms of engagement and endorsing the product takes a little bit longer than we would like.
That's what I'm saying is if you're trying to speed that up though, your CAC would increase. You'd put 2 salespeople on it to bring it from 9 months to 3 months, or like you'd spend more to close the customer faster. So your CAC would actually go up if you're trying to decrease a sales cycle.
I see what you're saying. No, so I think what I'm trying to get at is I'm looking for a more efficient sales process. And so the way I've kind of thought about it is not necessarily to put more people to the problem to solve for that. I think it's just about creating more scalable, more efficient processes, and also improving our marketing efforts to lower the awareness barriers.
What's your fully weighted CAC today on a $5,000 first year ACV?
I actually don't have those numbers off the top of my head.
Or what's it like around?
I think that for us, I can pull it up.
The reason I'm asking is and just to the listeners, I mean, when you have such low churn, 0.5% revenue churn annually, I mean, usually what you see a lot of people doing in the SaaS space is they'll actually ramp up CAC because they're so confident in their lifetime value cohort. Like it's very sticky after they get the physical hardware installed. So Sunny, that's what I'm trying to ask you on, Logan, is again, why aren't you spending more on CAC since you know they're going to stick?
Yeah, good question. I think it's more about just that ever present balance between growth rate and burn and sort of the next fundraising round, candidly.
How much have you raised to date?
So we've raised 16 to date. Okay.
So not nothing crazy, but you're obviously definitely on the VC path.
Yeah, absolutely. So we closed our A last year. We're actually continuing to pursue our B as we speak.
How much are you hoping to raise in the B?
About 10.
10. And do you mind me asking, don't say what you're actually negotiating, but in your best kind of case, what would pre-money valuation be?
Decline to answer. Sorry, man.
Well, again, don't tell me what you're actually negotiating, but what would just make you really happy if you actually got it pre-money?
I think 10 times revenue would be amazing. Okay. I mean, I don't think I'm trying to get super aggressive here.
Yeah. So 10 times would be about 35 million pre-money on a 10 raise. So you'd sell 20-ish% of the company.
There you go.
Yeah. Interesting. Very good. So back to that CAC question. What's it around?
I actually don't have the numbers off the top of my head.
Well, let's talk through it. What's your team size look like today?
So I've got 5 full-time FTE, 8 account executives.
Yep. And sorry, give me the total team, everyone, engineers, everyone.
Yeah, 42.
42. Okay, so 5 of them are focused on, do they have SDRs for each AE or what?
I have only 2 SDRs servicing 5 AEs.
Okay, so about 7 people are focused on sales to some degree. Do you do any direct paid stuff?
You mean in terms of
PPC, AdWords, trade shows?
Very little.
So really most of your CAC expenses is tied up in that 7-person headcount.
That's correct.
Yeah, so you could take total salaries each month divided by obviously new customers per month and kind of back into it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What to speed up your sales cycle, what do you need to do? Like, where do you think your system's weakest right now?
I honestly think that there's a little bit of awareness and marketing pain, in my personal opinion. I think it would be great to have a little bit more sort of like air support, so that coming into the conversation, there's a little bit of awareness of our brand and our reputation. I think we've done a lot of really amazing work, and we have very strong customer advocates. And so refining our sort of outward messaging so that those messages and those case studies are heard more effectively would be great. I would say that I would look for that's number one. And then number two, I think that right now we are learning how to handle larger portfolio adoption. So for example, if we get a customer that it wants us to roll out 30, 40 buildings at a time, it's not that we can't do it, but I think there are sort of certain customer success and customer enablement processes that need to be refined in order to really just do that amazing in an amazing way, so that we can pivot that 4 or 5 building, initial contract into sort of the full portfolio right away. Yeah, right. And so instead of waiting a whole year, right, to get to the portfolio, you're only waiting 3 months or 6 months.
Where's the team based today?
Mostly based in DC, with about 6 remote employees, remote sales guys.
DC and remote. And now, since you're prepping to raise right now, are you back at break even, or are you still burning?
Still burning.
Still burn, aggressive. Are we talking aggressively or?
Not aggressive. We're talking like
$100,000 a month, or
maybe around 250, 300.
Okay, around 300. The reason I'm asking is I always like to know, I'm always curious how much runway CEOs have left in the bank when they say, okay, I should go start fundraising now. And so Sure. It sounds like, what do you try and optimize that for, 6 months or something?
Yeah. My rule of thumb has always been something like, start to put the hi, how you doings in the 6 to 8 month range, and then the more official thing at around 6 months.
Yeah. So if you're burning, call it 200, 300 grand a month today, you got, 1.8, 2 million cushion in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. Great. Do you have a lead yet, investor on the Series B, or no?
Yeah, we're pretty deep now
at this
point in terms of conversation. So.
Oh, good. Well, congrats on that. That's great. All right, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
I'm going to go with The Creative Curve by Alan Gannett. Recent read, and have really enjoyed it.
That's so funny. I grew up in Northern Virginia. I'm really close with Alan, so it's nice to hear that you jumped in and read the book. Man.
He's a good guy.
Did he do a book stop in your guys' office?
He hasn't stopped by the office yet, but he did promise me, so I'm going to hold him to that.
All right, very good. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
I think that I tend to keep close watch of both Bezos and Musk. I'm just always very interested to see their dynamics in terms of their disruptiveness and things of that nature. So I keep them, a kind of classic. I guess you could say.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool?
B2B or B2C?
It's just your favorite online tool for building your company.
Any tool for building my company. I'm recently have a warm heart for a tool that I just rolled out called Lattice, which is sort of a people management tool that helps managers with one-on-ones and updates and stuff like that. Really cool stuff.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
About 5 to 6.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Fiance, marriage in September.
Oh, good. No kids yet?
No kids yet.
All right. And how old are you?
I am 34.
34. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh, man. What? Stick it out. Get out there and talk to more people earlier. I was a little bit of an introvert in my earlier days, and I think if I had done that faster, it would have been better.
Guys, talked to people earlier, launched aquicore back in 2013, helping people manage buildings more efficiently, especially landlords. 700 buildings right now, about $5,000 per building per year. So doing about 290 grand per month in revenue. That's up from 190 grand a month just a year ago. So nice growth. They've raised about $16 million, burning about 300 grand in cash per month right now. 42 people in DC and remote, 0.5% revenue churn annually. They upsell against square feet, feature licenses, or hardware upsells. There is an IoT component here. They don't really measure kind of CAC and payback right now. It's just, it's effective right now. Looking to raise another $10 million here shortly. Logan, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you, sir.